thank you to IOHK and Cardano for inviting us today. My name is Pat LaVecchia. I'm the CEO of Oasis Pro Markets and its holding company, Oasis Pro Inc. We're very much looking forward to a long-term partnership with IOHK and Cardano in regards to providing democratization to the world of financial services to a variety of countries utilizing our best-in-class technology, matching engine, or exchange, dependent upon the country and the regulatory environment. We're very much regulatory and compliance forward and are honored that IOHK has selected us as their partner as we go out to a variety of countries to expand upon this particular approach, not only democratizing for the citizenry and the diaspora of these countries, but also providing efficient and cost savings to these countries in regards to issuances that they plan. My background is investment banking, international banking. I've worked all across the world. I've worked with large companies, Bear Stearns, JP Morgan, as well as Credit Suisse, First Boston. I bring that experience to bear as we are expanding with IOHK. On top of that, I have a very deep bench of, fellow employees at Oasis Pro Markets. As you'll see here, the experiences range from Bank of America to RBC, Merrill Lynch, as well as institutional investors. In regards to our specific approach, as I mentioned earlier, we're regulatory and compliance forward. The uniqueness of our technology is that we're digital cash for digital securities. Now, I'll expand upon that in a moment in regards to digital cash, which we define as stable coins. But it could also be CBDCs. And as we approach different regulatory environments across the world, that could include other specific tokens, as long as it's allowed from a regulatory and compliance basis in those specific countries, which is very, very exciting. As you'll see here, this is just a snapshot of what we're approved for here in the United States. Specifically, all types of exempt or private securities, both equities, fixed income, and asset-backed securities as well. We are also approved for public, what's called over-the-counter securities here in the U.S., and this is all utilizing this same matching engine that we'll be working with IOHK and the Cardano protocol going forward. We're a full-service investment bank, and we are very deep in regards to not only here in the U.S., but also in regards to the regulatory environments across the globe. So now I'm going to talk a bit about digital securities. The digital securities, sovereign debt specifically, is a security that in the blockchain area could actually be fractionalized. And that fractionalization is tied very much into democratization. It helps risk management for the issuer, the countries that we're in discussions with. It increases the investor base, which in turn should improve liquidity as well, seamlessly going forward. These digital exchange trading systems and order matching engines that we have developed are the transition point from the legacy solutions available today and have been around for decades to the blockchain, and the benefits are enormous. As you'll see here, the onboarding process is seamless. It's KYC, AML, very, very deep on that from that standpoint. Once approved, then that particular subscriber or trader or investor will have the opportunity to purchase the sovereign debt issuance. Now, this is all primary. That is our focus at this point in time. But if our clients, sovereign nations, decide to allow for secondary trading, we are prepared to to offer that solution as well. We have that solution today. And then I'm going to talk a bit about smart contracts. So the benefits of smart contracts, and congratulations to IOHK with the recent big news on the Cardano protocol with smart contracts. It's basically coding, and think of it as bespoke. In other words, whatever the issuer or sovereign nation would like to build into that smart contract can be coded in. That information or documentation is widely available. So this approach eliminates poor documentation. The smart contracts are embedded in the security itself, and it contains the terms of the security. For instance, the principal and interest payments, default provisions, if any, or any other types of actions and protections that are incorporated not only for the investor, but for the issuer, the sovereign nation. I mentioned it eliminates poor documentation. It also is real time. So one of the issues with settlement times, not only here in the United States, but on a global basis, is that settlement times can take anywhere between 2 to 10 days post a specific transaction occurring. Utilizing the blockchain, utilizing digital cash to purchase digital securities, and when selling digital securities to receive digital cash, that settlement time is reduced to almost zero. I don't want to say it is zero, but the technologists in the room would suggest that it is basically zero, which is very exciting. As well, for the issuer, it reduces the asset servicing costs in regards to providing principal and interest payments, determining who is on the cap table. As these transactions occur, because of the KYC AML provisions, there is an opportunity for the sovereign nation to know at any time what institutions or individuals, citizenry, own their specific sovereign debt issue. So in regards to any interest payments that occur, that can all be handled from the government offices rather than mailing out checks, which takes time, determining addresses to mail those checks to. All that asset servicing is a tremendous time waste and unnecessary. The blockchain solves that issue, and we estimate that the savings are anywhere between 25 and 50 basis points of the issue amount, which is considerable for multiple issue sovereign nations. And our multi-asset matching engine can work across the spectrum of different securities as well. If the specific sovereign nation decides that they'd like to expand it into other arenas, potentially even incorporating equities regarding the local companies, or fixed income, or asset backs, project finance, whatever it may be, could utilize our specific blockchain engine. Additionally, as I've been describing all this obviously improves efficiencies as well. Now, the question is that this technology is available today, and we have it with IOHK ready to launch across the spectrum. In 5-10 years, this is going to be ubiquitous. So the sovereign nations that work with us today will be significantly ahead of the curve. And as technology improves, et cetera, they will continue to be ahead of the curve, which, based on some of the discussions we have, is of extreme importance. So digital cash for digital securities. This is just a graph of the approach. Digital securities, sovereign debt issuance, digital cash. Again, today we describe as stable coins, and some stable coins, this audience may be familiar with include DAI, USDC, Paxos, Tether, and there's several others as well. Again, outside the U.S. is a very heavy regulatory environment. We operate in it. But outside the U.S., depending upon the regulatory environment for those specific nations that we'll be working with, if they allow digital cash definition to be expanded to include other cryptos, we are certainly able to do that as well, which again we think is very exciting. So the real benefits are, which I've already outlined earlier, is almost immediate settlement times and the ability on the back end for asset servicing to reduce costs substantially. And frankly, this is the future. And we know the future is here today and we can deliver it. Now, at this point in time, I would like to thank you and thank the IOHK and Cardano team again for allowing us to present Oasis Pro Markets and our solution. We're very excited to be working with this team. We're very excited to changing the world and bringing this technology, the future of financial services, to sovereign nations across the globe, and to improve democratization, improve efficiencies, and save costs for these sovereign countries, and improve the lives of their citizenry as well. Thank you.